India, one of the former presidents. Don't read success stories. You will get only a message. Read failure stories. You will get some ideas to get success. So when you have failures, you should read about the failures. Then only you will be able to be a successful person. Another issue that I would like to highlight is accountability. We have a serious problem with accountability. Especially in Sri Lanka, no one is accountable for anything. If you listen to the comments inside the parliament, sometimes we have to ask this question, who is responsible? So no one is responsible. So we are indeed very famous for this blame mother culture. Blame others culture. Not you, anybody else is responsible. So talking about our roads, you may have witnessed, they break all the rules possible when they drive a vehicle. But if you stop and ask what they are doing, they will scold the other person and go. So that kind of a culture we have. So as I said, we can make mistakes, but we should have the ability, capacity, we should be humble enough to accept that. Especially you are going to be doctors. As I said, when we treat patients, sometimes we make mistakes. We go to do surgery and not intentionally, cut something else, accident. But we are responsible. So in those instances, when you do face this problem, you should have the decency to say sorry. I'm sorry, I did not do this intentionally. It was unavoidable. I'm very sorry about this. It is a very good quality. And if you do so, it can change the negative attitudes of other people against you. And equally, it can save the guilty conscience that you might have. I'm sure these people who make mistakes and say various things without saying sorry, I don't think they are in a position to sleep in the night, most of these guys. Because they know that they have done something. So this is very important for doctors. And most of the complaints, most of the litigations, court cases are because of this. So when we make a mistake, we must go to the patient, go to the relatives and others and say sorry and try to explain things to them. So this is important, accountability. A quote from Abraham Lincoln. I quote, "You can fool all the people some of the time." You can fool all the people some of the time, especially the politicians. And some of the people all the time. But you cannot fool all the people all the time. So there is a day you will have to give a break. So try to inculcate this good quality from day one in the faculty. Stress is another important area. Stress is everywhere. Nothing unusual. And I am sure you also might have some degree of stress after coming to this new environment, university, but that is a reality. Of course, some people say that little bit of stress is good also, because that will boost your achievements. But each individual should know where to draw the line and seek support and help. Of course, there may be other methods to overcome stress, meditation and extracurricular activities, humor, cracking jokes with friends. There may be activities like this also. But whatever you do, if you think that the red line has crossed, you should seek support and help. Otherwise, we know that stress can interfere with your studies. It can affect your health, gastritis, one name, things like depression. So therefore, if necessary, seek advice. A quote about stress. Next time you are stressed, take a step back. Inhale and laugh. Next time you are stressed, take a step back, inhale and laugh, not cry. Remember who you are and why you are here. To you, answer is obvious. You are never given anything in this world that you cannot handle. Be strong. Be flexible. That is also important. Be strong, but be flexible. Love yourself and love others. Always remember, just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward, not backwards, not leaving the campus, etc., not leaving the job. And we have faced these situations even now. I am also facing this situation, so nothing unique. So please remember, it's a very interesting and useful quote. Next time you are stressed, take a step back, inhale and laugh. Remember who you are and why you are here. You are never given anything in this world that you can't handle. Be strong, be flexible, love yourself and love others. Always remember, just keep moving forward. About the teaching system in the faculty, I am sure you will come to know about many areas of the teaching system in the faculty during the next few weeks. But I want to highlight few important areas. In the school, most of the time you are in one classroom, maybe another laboratory or two. But in the faculty, there are many lecture theatres, many tutorial rooms and so forth. And when you start your clinical work, hospital, so many places in the hospital, ward, theatre, clinic, etc., etc. So you have to get adapted to this, not going in the morning, sitting in one classroom and go home end of the day. So here you have to run from one place to another. In the school, probably you had one teacher for a subject, I believe. But here for a subject, you have so many staff members. Their styles may be different. Their approach may be different. And so you'll have to get used to these teachers. And later on, The key teacher in our discipline is the patient. I don't know whether you have read, there was one interesting article recently about this area written by another senior consultant. So in our discipline, please keep in mind that the patient is the most important teacher. And of course in the faculty, we have various modules, integrated curriculum, and those words are there, and this will be discussed later on. One area that I would like to draw your attention is in the class, in the school, teachers came and they may have given so-called a lecture. But nowadays, medicine or otherwise, in the modern university system, the place for these so-called face-to-face or didactic lectures, they are of less importance. I am not saying that they are not important, you should not cut lectures, I believe still 80% is there. And there was a debate whether to remove the 80%, but I think you have not still removed the 80% minimum requirement. Anyway, the other activities, they are called the student-centered learning. That is the word used in the modern university system, where the students participate, tutorials, small group discussions, and various other activities are there. So you'll have to give importance to these activities, not the lecture, equal importance, because those will promote your knowledge and your skills. So in the new curriculum, well, it's not really new in that sense. So you get the opportunity to visit hospitals and meet patients very early. That is important. About the examinations. Now up to advanced level in schools, probably you had to answer a few questions. They are so-called knowledge plays, basically the lower level of the pyramid. Knowledge was tested. But in the faculty, especially professional fields, you will have to get used to this other examination instruments, where we test your ability for critical thinking, your ability to perform, so-called perform-based assessments. To be a good doctor, that is your final aim in the faculty. You should develop that, not to only answer questions. So that skill has to be developed in coming years. And of course, in the medical faculty, I don't think there is tuition as such. In the school, I know that a lot of our children, or all the children for that matter, from grade 1 they go for tuition classes. When I was a student, we never have heard about tuition class. We didn't know what these tuition classes are. Later on only, this became a kind of a fashion in the field of education. But of course, you might have these still senior students who might try to come and help you. I think these are referred to as copy classes, unless the culture has changed. My time, well, I think they might be able to help you to some extent. But of course, still there are no so-called tuition classes. It's a quote from Bill Gates, the owner of the Microsoft company. He was the richest, number 1 in the list. Now I believe he is number 2. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve. So what I want to highlight is, during this period of study, feedback is important. You can't just read or do something and forget about it. Always the feedback. With whom? Could be anybody. It could be a teacher. It could be a friend. It could be a patient. It could be a nurse, anybody. But there has to be a feedback about what you have learned, about what you have performed, and the degree of acceptance. You might think that you are marvelous. But when you go to this feedback only, you will understand that there are areas for improvement. So what is the road to success? I know that your road ends at the MBBS as far as the faculty is concerned. And most of us, all the time when we talk about road to success, we concentrate heavily on hard skills. There are two types of skills, hard skills, soft skills. I will mention few about them later on. So you have heard the word IQ. Usually IQ is directly linked to hard skills. And hard skills are of course important. Degree is also important. At the same time, you must keep in mind that the wealthiest in the world, the leading entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka and other countries, they have never entered the university. No degree. Including Bill Gates, including the inventor of Apple computers, Mr. Steve Jobs, and many others. You take Sri Lanka, many leading entrepreneurs. In fact, recently there was a conference where Institute of Management, where they invited these leading entrepreneurs. No university degree. They were asked to make a presentation on how they reached this level. What is their success story? So that was a very interesting gathering. So all these people had this other side, other skills called soft skills. Even for a doctor, to be a good professional, to be a successful doctor, it is very important for us to acquire the soft skills. Another linked word is EQ, emotional intelligence, or EI. So while we concentrate heavily on IQ, we also should concentrate on soft skills and EQ. If you look at the vision, mission of leading foreign universities, we only say we want to be the best in South Asia or something like that. But they talk in terms of this. What is your vision? We want to produce a doctor with character. We want to produce a graduate with soft skills and humane values. Those are their vision and the mission. So world is changing. So please keep this in mind. And if you read newspapers, listen to the public. If you are listening to the budget speech, I'm not saying everything in the budget speech was good, but this issue was addressed. Most of the time they say, especially Sri Lankan graduates, in general, if you listen to the private sector, they have a problem. Your graduates, they don't have the soft skills that we want to make our company a leading company in the country or for that matter world. So there is a problem, we have to accept that. And also talking about success, especially in medicine or otherwise, this area of continuous professional development. You have joined this profession, join the faculty, you want to be a doctor, be in task, it is your choice. So now there is no way that you can take a U-turn and go back. So from today, continuous professional development will have to be there. There is no way that you can stop learning, studying, reading, etc. So it is a lifetime activity. A quote from Henry Ford, I don't know whether you know about him. He is the entrepreneur who was the owner of the company at the beginning. He said, I quote, anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80. So I suppose it will apply to me also. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. Some extent may be true to me also. So please remember, anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. So now you are inside the circle, so you have to keep on boxing. You can't